All right, so what are complex fractions? Well, in previous courses, we've talked about rational expressions. And those are basically a fraction with a polynomial in the numerator or a polynomial in the denominator. And complex fractions are that exact same, but now we're adding in an additional fraction either in the numerator and denominator or in both. So, an example of a rational expression is you can, again, we can have a over b. All right, that's when we're looking at just a fraction, that would be in a fraction, right? But if I produce a fraction in the numerator, let's do a over c, then that is what we call a complex fraction. Or I could do the same in the denominator. I could say a divided by b over c. Or I could also say a over c divided by b over d. These are all three examples of what complex fractions are. But let's go and take a look at, with some actually numbers and some other variables so you can kind of get an idea. But the main idea of a complex fraction is that there's a fraction in the numerator, denominator, or both. But we still remain that we're having division. The main operation is our division. But just in our expressions in the numerator and denominator is going to be a fraction or another rational expression. So let's go and take a look at just some examples of complex fractions. So I can have simply one, I'm just going to write some examples so you can see. So 3 is a whole number in my numerator. But then if I say x divided by 2 as a rational expression, a fraction in my denominator, that would be what we call a complex fraction. We can also have complex fractions as, like an expression in my numerator. Then we'd have to combine them, as well as I could have, 1 over x minus 1 minus 2 over x plus 1. So we can also have expressions as a fraction in my denominator. And to solve this, we kind of talk about this in the course, but you got to combine these so it's a single fraction in your numerator and in your denominator, and then we can apply our operations. So here's an example of two expressions that we'd want to combine them to a single fraction, but therefore we have a fraction in a numerator and we have a fraction in the denominator. And just another example could be 3 over x divided by 5. Again, you can see that we have a fraction in my numerator divided by a whole number in my denominator. So therefore, we're going to call them complex fractions. And I go through on of course how to solve these. Is the main important thing is combining these to a single fraction. And then there's basically two different methods that we go through. But for this one, I just want to explain to you what is a complex fraction. It's a little bit different than the rational expressions we've used before when we simplified them, multiplied, added, subtracted, divided them. So these are going to take a little bit different, but they're really great fun. All right, thanks so much. Bye.